What do you need to know to get your birth plan read and honored? Here are 15 tips. Hi, I'm Melissa Evans. I've been a childbirth educator, doula, and a birth professional in many facets since 2004. It's been a while, and I know how important it is for families to have quality childbirth classes under their belt before they go off to have their babies. I also know that those childbirth classes are really hard for families to fit in their schedules and in their budgets. So here I am offering my comprehensive classes for free on YouTube. Please know that I am not a medical professional nor a lawyer, so do use common sense and talk things over with professionals that you trust. But for now, let's talk about birth plans. Once again, I'm going to look at the words. Many people don't like the term birth plan because you can't plan birth, and that is 100% accurate. So some will use birth wishes. I have to admit, I really don't like this. This feels way too airy-fairy. When you wish upon a star. Some will say birth preferences. I still find that to be on the weak side. I prefer Coke, but you know, Pepsi would do just fine. So I've used the term birth goals, and that gets a lot of pushback, and I understand, because it sounds like if you don't achieve your goal, then you failed, and that's not the point of any of this. But if the goal is ultimately to have a healthy mom and baby, then what we're really talking about is how we achieve that goal. It's the route. So maybe birth route, or maybe birth blueprint, or birth choices, birth strategy. I kind of like that one, but what do you think? Let me know in the comments, because I'm really struggling with this word, and I think the entire industry is. So we need a big light bulb on this. Help me out down there, okay? Thanks. For this class, I'm going to say birth plan, because that is the current industry standard, and we're just going to keep it nice and simple. You're going to notice that I'm going to assume that this is a hospital birth, but if you're not birthing in a hospital, still watch. Having a hospital transfer plan is important too, and so these things will still apply. Many hospitals will have a little checkboxy form thing that they offer to their patients, and I have some mixed feelings about this. On one hand, that is what staff is accustomed to. They are familiar with it. They know what to expect and what to read on that. On the other hand, it's completely and totally impersonal. It can miss some really important things you want to put on there and add some things that really just don't need to be on there. So if you're going to do that, still do the other birth plans that I'm going to talk about here. Some families will write these long, detailed, meticulous birth plans. Do not give that to the hospital staff. Okay? Unfortunately, there are jokes about the longer the birth plan, the more likely the birth will end in a cesarean. And while I don't think that's a particularly funny joke, that is an attitude of some of the staff. I find it to be rather repulsive, to be honest, and yet that's what many families get to deal with. So do write that really long detail, go into all the minutia, but it's not for hospital. You give that to your partner and to your doula. It's a great tool for getting your brain around what you want your birth to look like. They want to know how you want your back rubbed and what kind of music and the candles and all of those things. They're going to set that up for you. That's not the nurse's job, so they don't need that information. But that process of writing it out forces you to really go into the detail and think, and it sets your support team up to know how to do their job the best for you. The hospital staff does not give a flying frog's fanny about what you want to wear or what music you want to hear. For them, tip number 1 is keep your birth plan short. Like, it can fit on a 3x5 card. Short. Single-sided. Double-spaced. Okay, that's a slight exaggeration, but really not by much. Think of a resume. You have about 30 seconds before eyes glaze over and all attention is lost. Short, sweet, and to the point is key. So how are you going to reduce your grand dreams and vision to that? Start with your overall plan. Most moms are going to fall somewhere on the I want a natural birth and the give me the epidural as soon as possible category. And that's okay. I think once staff knows where you are on this, they already know a lot of things about you. If mom wants a natural birth, they know that she probably wants to walk and wants to eat and stuff. And if they know mom wants an epidural as soon as possible, they know she's okay with ice chips and she's okay with continuous fetal monitoring, because those are part and parcel of those types of birth. So simply stating that says a lot about you already and can reduce how much you need to communicate in your official hospital birth plan. One of my students actually had a section that she called "Words I Want to Describe My Birth." And I thought this was powerful and beautiful. Number 3 is remove the irrelevant bits. I want to labor at home as long as possible. You weren't in the hospital. It doesn't apply. That's kind of moot. I do not want a routine shave and enema. That is so old and archaic. I can only imagine how high care providers roll their eyes when they see that. And if you're at a birthplace that's still doing that, my condolences. Number 4 is remove things you can just do. I want to wear my own clothes and I want to play my music. Then put on your own clothes and play your music. I want to labor in the tub and I want dim lights. Then go get in the tub and turn off the lights. It's okay. You're a big girl. You can do that. Number 5 is remove things you can just answer on the fly. Hi, I'd like to break your bag of waters. No, thank you. Okay, see, you can do that. If your birth team isn't going to ask before doing these things, that's kind of a red flag. Number 6 is focus on what's outside their normal routine. There's no point in wasting your space saying what they're already going to do automatically anyways. So one client, she only wanted her care provider to do cervical checks. That's kind of unusual. Most of the time it's nurse or whoever happens to be on call or whatever. That's the type of thing that needs to go into a birth plan. Number 7 is focus on your highest priorities. Is delayed cord clamping really important to you? Then make sure that that's on there. Yeah, even if it's in the norm. If it's in your top 3 absolute ultimate goals, go ahead and put that on there. Number 8 is be realistic. If your birthplace doesn't offer water birth and you say you want a water birth in your birth plan, that's not going to change anything. If you are going to a fast food restaurant and you ask for filet mignon, it's not going to happen. It doesn't matter if you scream or cry or beg or ask in a different language or demand to talk to the owner or write a letter to the CEO or even explain to them how to do it and why it's so good for you. It doesn't matter. You can get what's on the menu with some mild variations. That's it. Number 9 is separate out your labor and birth plan from your baby and postpartum plan. The baby nurse doesn't care about what type of position you want to use, and your labor and delivery nurse does not care about your views on pacifiers. Compartmentalize so everyone can easily see the information that pertains to their job. Number 10 is have a separate cesarean plan. This is kind of an in case of emergency break glass situation. For ideas on choices you have for that, go watch the class cesarean section or cesarean birth. Number 11 is use positive phrasing. Don't think about elephants. What'd you do? You just thought about elephants, didn't you? But I just told you not to. All right, let's try again. Think about rabbits. Did you think about elephants? See how that works? This applies in many areas of life, and birth plans are no exception. Instead of saying, I don't want my baby separated from me, say, I want my baby attached to me like Velcro. Number 12 is include a picture of your family on your birth plan. This makes it personal, individual. Don't step onto the assembly line. Number 13 is attach your birth plan to a plate of cookies and or muffins. This is not a bribe. This is a preemptive thank you. Nurses are often overworked and underfed and super stressed. So supporting them helps create an awesome environment of respect on both sides. Number 14 is when you have your birth plan meeting with your care provider, make sure that they know that you want to go over your birth plan so that they can schedule accordingly. In general, most insurance companies only allow doctors to see their patients for about 7 minutes. It's not quite enough time to go over everything. So scheduling can help make sure that they aren't backed up and reduce how much time other moms are sitting in the waiting room waiting their turn. What's that? Your care provider doesn't offer birth plan meetings? Huh. How do you feel about that? Number 15 is when you do talk to your care provider about your birth plan, make sure you're fully dressed. It's really hard to feel strong and confident and have an adult conversation when you're wearing a paper gown with your bum flapping in the wind. Once again, choosing your care provider and birthplace wisely is really important. If your birth plan is really long because there's so many things that you want that aren't their norm, that might be an indicator that it's not a good fit. An underlying theme here is that you have to know your choices. You have to know your care provider style. You have to know your birthplace's policies. You have to do your homework. I'll be working on another video that talks about exact choices that you have, but in the meantime, read, learn, go talk to your care provider, go on the hospital tour, do all of those things. Take responsibility for your health. Don't just give your power away. This is yours. Your homework is to start your nice, long, detailed, micromanaging, all of the things birth plan. Get your brain around this. How do you want this to feel? How do you want to be supported? Start that, and then we'll get to the nitty-gritty that's more short. So what do you think? You excited to start your birth plan? A little intimidated? Let me know about your process in the comments. Please like this video and share it with your friends, and remember to subscribe. I want to post classes every week and I don't want you to miss out. Until next time, know your options and own your birth, which is exactly what this whole birth plan thing is all about.